All right, roadside rescue, here we are with the car in question. Needs all new fluids. Let's see if we can get it taken care of. Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and this morning, just real close by here in the neighborhood, we're gonna be working on a gentleman's vehicle. Actually one of the subscribers from the channel, so shout out. And we're gonna replace all the fluids in his vehicle. He went to I guess another shop, and they just gave him the rundown of all of his different fluids, and he's decided to just get them all refreshed. So we're going to be doing that this morning. We'll go through how to replace all the different fluids in your vehicle, kind of what you're looking for, and that's pretty much it. So we'll get over there and we'll get his car fixed up for him. All right, so here we are with the customer's car. We are going to replace all the fluids. So I've got this fan on the radiator. This will be the last thing we do to cool this down. I've just got most of this fluid siphoned out here, so I'm going to top it off and then bleed the brakes through the back line just to get all new fluid through the lines. And like I mentioned before, I just like to do a gravity bleed, so we're going to top this off now and then open up that back line. I've got my bleeder bottle here that I'll just hook up to that, sitting in some brake fluid, and yeah, we'll stick that under the far back tire there and let that pull the clean fluid through. So that'll probably take 10 minutes. We'll just let that drip and check on the fluid up here as we drain his oil and transmission fluid and worry about getting those completely replaced as well. So okay, so here we are underneath here. We're about to drain the transmission oil. I never do a complete flush or drain, or whatever they call it. I think it's a flush, where you basically stick the vacuum down through there and pull all the fluid out. Typically just a drain and fill is the best idea, especially on older vehicles, as they work by fluid dynamics and the viscosity of the fluids. When they get metal particles in there breaking down, that, you know, increases the weight of the oil. And so if you completely flush them, you can start having your transmission slip. Probably not going to happen with this vehicle, but typically just the practice that I use is just a drain and refill. So that'll keep some of the original fluid in there, usually replace about half. So I've got this up safely on some blocks and some jack stands. And so without further ado, we'll drain this transmission oil, and then with the engine oil, we'll do that at the same time. We'll just after, and then we'll let those drain out good. Top them back off. This is completely empty because the transmission fluid, the best way to know how much to put back in is just measure what came out. So I've got an empty oil jug there that I'll measure the fluid level with, and then I'll just replace it with that exact amount that came out. So we'll go ahead and drain this. All right, if you can see way back there by the tire, we've got brake fluid draining. Up here, this transmission oil is just stopping to drip, so we're gonna go ahead, put the plug back in, measure this, and then we'll drain the engine oil. I was gonna use that pan, but it's really shallow on the top, so I just used this one at the funnel so it didn't splash all over the place. So we'll just measure this first and then drain the engine oil. All right, so we've got the engine oil drained. We're just topping it off up here real quick. All right, so we just got this brake fluid all done. It's coming out clear in the back there, so we've got it completely flushed. And now we're gonna go ahead and top off the transmission. It's pretty much cool. Not much pressure in there, so we'll crack it open here soon. So here we are refilling the transmission. It's extra important to measure how much came out sometimes, because in this case there isn't a dipstick. So we got just under 4.5 quarts out, so just under 4.5 go back in. All right, so again, there was no dipstick. Our fill hole is actually tucked away back there, if you can see that shiny little bolt right there. So we just had our little funnel with a bendy straw on it, filled it up, gave it just under 4.5 quarts. We've got everything done except the coolant, so we'll go ahead and see if this is cool enough to crack open. All right, so here we go, it's draining. It was really satisfying because it went right through that little hole like that. But we're draining that, so it'll be a couple minutes. We're gonna open the top of the radiator now. Yeah, you just wanna make sure it's not too hot to hold. The pain threshold's like 130 degrees, so if you can keep your hand on it for more than like 6 seconds, then you're fine. Best case scenario, just do it when it's cool, but we had the fan running on it and there wasn't any pressure built up in there, so that's good. Technically, it's not the pressure anyways, well, yeah, it is. It's whenever it drops pressure and then the boiling temperature comes back down to atmospheric pressure and it explodes, but that's didn't happen. So we'll crack the line on the top, get some air in there and let this come out a little bit quicker, and then we'll top her back off. Okay, that'll let some air come in and you can already see it's draining a lot faster, so the difference. Just make sure this is all getting caught, not splashing around too much. I'll put some rags down. All right, so that just finished draining. Use your preferred method to bleed it. Here we're on an incline, so it'll probably be fine. I usually top it off, wait a few minutes for it to seep past that thermostat into the block, and then I'll top it back up off. If it has any issues, then I'll just use a coolant funnel, which people have asked about before in other videos. A lot of times I just don't show the final steps. I just show like pouring the coolant in there. But this case I probably won't even need it, so we'll just check. Okay, here we are. Everything's topped off. The coolant's all topped off. We got this replaced nice and clean. Transmission oil, everything except for this has electronic power steering. So there's no power steering fluid replacement in this video. Other than that, everything is done, complete, tightened down, triple checked everything. I'm Ernest, this is the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. If you like the video, consider subscribing, consider becoming a channel member. If you don't, nothing will change, but you can help support the channel. And we'll see you on the next episode. This is a job well done.